Infanta Blanca of Spain was the eldest child of Carlos, Duke of Madrid, Carlist claimant to the throne of Spain, and his wife Princess Margherita of Bourbon-Parma.Blanca was a member of the House of Bourbon and, according to the Carlists, an Infanta of Spain by birth. In 1889 she married Archduke Leopold Salvator of Austria. The couple had 10 children. The family left Austria after the end of the monarchy and finally settled in Barcelona, when the male line of Blanca's family died out at the death of her uncle, Alfonso Carlos, Duke of San Jaime. Some of the Carlists recognized her as the legitimate heiress to the Spanish throne. Early life. Infanta Blanca of Spain was born in Graz, Styria, Austria-Hungary, the eldest child of Carlos, Duke of Madrid, the Carlist claimant to the throne of Spain under the name Carlos VII, and of his wife Princess Margherita of Bourbon-Parma. Blanca's childhood was marked by the Third Carlist War, in which her father tried, unsuccessfully, to gain the throne of Spain by force. For a time in 1875, Blanca lived in Elizondo, Navarre at the court established by her father. After the war ended, the family lived mostly in the Parisian district of Passy. In 1881 they were expelled from France due to Carlos's political activities. By then Blanca's parents drifted apart. Her father went to live in his palace in Venice, while her mother retired to her estate in Viareggio, Italy. Blanca and her siblings divided the time between them. Marriage an issue. Blanca married Archduke Leopold Salvator of Austria, second child and eldest son of Archduke Carl Salvator of Austria and his wife Princess Maria Immaculata of Bourbon, 2 Sicilies. On 24 October 1889 at Schloss Frosdorf in Lanzenkirchen, Lower Austria, Blanca and Leopold Salvator's main residence was the Palais Toscana in Vienna. They also owned Schloss Wilhelminenburg and a rural estate near Viareggio, which Archduchess Blanca inherited from her mother. They had 10 children together: Archduchess Dolores of Austria, Archduchess Immaculata of Austria Infinity 1932 Nobiligino Neri Cerneri, Archduchess Margherita of Austria Infinity 1937 Francesco Maria Taliani de Marchio, Archduke Rainer of Austria, Archduke Leopold of Austria Infinity 1919–1931 Dagmar Baroness Nikolix Padrinska Infinity 1932 Alicia Gibson Coburn, Archduchess Maria Antonia of Austria Infinity 1924 Don Ramon de Orlandos y Villaloma Infinity 1942 Luis Perez Sucre, Archduke Anton of Austria Infinity 1931–1954 Princess Ileana of Romania, Archduchess Assunta of Austria Infinity 1939–1950 Joseph Hopfinger, Archduke Franz Joseph of Austria Prince of Tuscany Infinity 1937–1938 Maria Aloisa Baumer Infinity 1962 Maria Elena Siena, Archduke Karl Pius of Austria Infinity 1938–1950 Christus Atska de Balvanios. Later life. After the defeat of Austria-Hungary in World War I in 1918 and the fall of the Habsburg dynasty, Archduchess Blanca with her husband and the children refused to recognize the new Austrian Republic. The properties were confiscated and they had to live in exile with meager means. The family could neither live in France nor in Italy, countries that had been Austria's enemies during the war. Blanca was forced to ask permission to live in Barcelona to her cousin Alfonso XIII of Spain, who belonged to the rival branch of the Spanish Bourbons. Alfonso XIII allowed them to come to Spain on condition that they did not support the claims to the Spanish throne of Blanca's brother Jaime, Duke of Madrid. In 1922 Blanca was recognized as a Spaniard. the exiled family had to live modestly in a house in Barcelona. The fall of Alfonso XIII and the proclamation of the Second Spanish Republic in April 1931 did not affect directly the circumstances. However, 5 months later, Blanca's husband died during a trip to Austria while trying to recover some of the lost properties. Blanca was left under strained economical means, living from vineyards at La Tenueta Real at Villareggio and from a small rent provided by the Carlist party of Catalonia. 3 of her children were still living with her: Dolores, Margherita and Carl. The convulsed political situation in Spain made them return to Austria. The family was able to rent 3 rooms at the former residence in Vienna, the Palais Toscana. In March 1938, Hitler annexed Austria, and Blanca, with her children Dolores and Carl, moved to her property in Villareggio. In later years, Blanca and her youngest sons Carl Pius and Franz Joseph became involved in various Carlist disputes and claims. She died, aged 81, in Villareggio, Tuscany, Italy. Ancestry.